But then I like to go sit in the hot tub, right, and be comfortable. And then once I sit there and I'm comfortable being comfortable, I tell myself, all right, am I going to be a warrior today? And am I going to put myself outside of my limits and do what I need to do, or am I going to go back inside and kind of start my day a little slower, you know? And I just know that the days that I do choose to get in that cold plunge just builds resiliency and mental fortitude that takes me further throughout the day, definitely.
And I think we are live. Josh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And good afternoon and welcome everybody to the Friday Conversations. Can you hear me in there, Jonathan?
We can see it. You guys need to turn your camera on.
Welcome everybody.
I got it.
To the.
I think you turned.
I can't hear the speakers. I just muted it.
Now we see you.
Nice.
We're good now.
There you go. Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, all right.
All right. Hey, Sheree Sauer just joined us. Good afternoon, Sheree.
Hey.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Friday Conversations here at Spokane SBE live from incredible Dry Fly Distillery. Today's theme hits us all right where life happens. Hard things and soft places. Hard things and soft places. We all face hard things, the challenges we push through, the grit it takes to build something meaningful, the courage to keep going when the path isn't smooth. And we all need soft places, the people, the moments, the community that let us breathe, reset, and rise again. Today, we get to explore the balance with someone who embodies it beautifully. My dear friend and true advocate for people and connection, Nolan Mullen. So settle in, open up, and let's step into a conversation that reminds us why doing hard things matters and why resting afterwards matters just as much. Let's dive in. Over to you, Dave.
Well, thank you so much. Jonathan, we have some people out there in the main room
Yes, we do.
that are just incredible. And I'd like for Zane to take it from here and just introduce us to who you have out there.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, Dave. We're excited to be here despite our early technical difficulties, but we're all awake and ready to go now. So, yeah, I'll start to my left here.
Introduce myself?
Yeah.
I'm Sheree Sauer, owner of Success Without Sacrifice. I'm a high performance coach.
We're fake clapping so we don't take away the audio. Yeah.
I'm a fitness coach. I help people build sustainable habits they can maintain for the rest of their life and feel amazing.
Hey, I'm Ryan McCauley. I work for White Lions and I sell everything cool in the house.
Nice.
I am Leonidas Biron. I am currently managing my mother's social media and a few other things.
My name is Natalie McGinley. I work at Credit Fix Joe. I'm also an ambassador with Alignable.
I'm Josh, Credit Fix Joe. We repair people's credit from good to great, great to excellent, or just good counselship in the meantime.
I'm Stacy Butler, and I'm opening my new business in Post Fall. It's called Fit Spot, so you can do it all.
Awesome. And I'm Zane Schwendiman. I'm with Zebra Go. And yeah, we just like to help small business owners who are struggling to keep up with those customer calls. We can help you out, let you do your work, and we handle the rest. Yeah, I'm excited for our conversation today. Back to you, Jonathan.
All right, Dave, you want to take us around the room in here?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. Did he call me Johnson?
I think you said Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Dave Ribble from Stand Up Mastery, and if you are in the neighborhood of needing some help with communicating, connecting, and collaborating, I would love to talk to you about what we do at Stand Up Mastery. Melissa.
I am Melissa Biron with Prime Wellness, and I help other people with metabolic stability.
Hi, I'm Victoria Kufel. I'm with Farm Bureau Insurance, specializing in pretty much all things insurance, home, auto, commercial, life, you name it. Needs insured, I can help you with it.
Excellent, fantastic. I am Jonathan Biron. I am married to the wonderful, beautiful, lovely Melissa Biron, and that's really all that matters. And I sell real estate. So if you know somebody that's thinking about buying or selling and they're not already connected with a realtor, I would love to sit down with them, explore their needs, and help them get moving.
My name is Brett McMahon, financial services professional, and I help families and businesses with their financial strength and protections.
Excellent. Welcome.
No?
Hi guys, I'm Nolan with Pay Compass. I work with local business owners across the region to help streamline payments and efficiency within their business and keep more of what they earn in their pocket.
Yeah?
My name's Alec Gonzalez with Coaching the Red Line. I do coaching and spiritual direction for pastors and leaders in the local church. Also have an Airbnb if you know someone coming to town, need a 4-bedroom place in a real nice neighborhood. And my wife runs backyard weddings. We do a small wedding venue in our backyard for under 40 people. And then finally, I've got a little podcast. Anybody that would want to share their story, especially as it relates to their journey to know God, love to give you a chance to tell your story and be on my podcast.
Thank you. Professor?
All right, Rob Ruder here with IDIC Designs. I am a business systems architect. I help you figure out whether or not you're using technology to the best of your business growth and strategies.
Okay, Jonathan, that's it for you.
All right, fantastic. What a great room. And I'm going to do something that I do every week, but I'm going to be a little more intentional because I was given feedback that I do say this every week and it's not necessarily clear why I do it. So I like to say, I wish we had 15 minutes for each one of you because what you bring to the table is so valuable. And just a quick little, hi, I'm Nolan, doesn't even come close to covering it. And the reason that I bring it up, and I do this every week intentionally, is I want you all that are here in the room here, in the room out there, I want you to be intentional when we're done with this conversation, meet somebody new or go a little bit deeper with somebody you already know, move past the assumptions of what you maybe pigeonholed them in when you first saw them or heard them. And then secondarily, to those people at home that are watching this either live on Facebook while we're doing this or are watching it on YouTube, these are incredible people. Like I am genuinely, I'm humbled to be in the same room with each and every one of you that are here in this room and then the greater room outside that we were all in a minute ago. Like these are good people. If you're watching this and you're like, I need to know a little bit about insurance. I need to know a little bit about the various things. I could go around the table, but we already did that. So all of these are people that I have come to know and I really appreciate being in the room with them. So reach out, connect with somebody, go a little bit deeper, and that's what I will say about that. So
Speaking of which, Jonathan,
yes,
where is this?
yes, yes, it's been mentioned a few times, but we want to give special thanks, one, to our location sponsor, Dryfly. We're here every week except for next week. And this, I'm going to say this a few times so that nobody shows up here next week. Next week, we will be at Innovia, which is in the Lincoln building, which is on the corner of Riverside and Lincoln. It's on the 6th floor. We'll have more details about that, but please don't come here next week. Well, come here if you want to have some amazing food, they're great. But if you want to come for Friday Conversations, we'll be at Innovia next week. Also later in December, keep an eye out. There's a few dates that we'll be intentionally skipping, like we won't be here the day after Christmas. So that's all coming soon. But yes, thank you to Dryfly and thank you to IDIC Designs for helping make the lunch happen.
Yeah.
It's a partnership with Dryfly, but we are grateful for the amazing flatbread pizza that was out there. That was really delicious. So thank you, Rob. Thank you, Dryfly. And Nolan.
Yes.
Man, you and I talked about this topic, and ever since then, it keeps coming up. And very interestingly, Alec is in the room, Cherie is out in the other room.
Yes.
So many people, Stephen, you keep coming to my mind for this, just this idea of burnout, of hitting this red line. And this thing that you and I were talking about is so pivotal to it. So I don't want to steal thunder. You've been processing it. Get us started with just a little bit about like how you've come to process this concept.
So, at least for me, I grew up as an athlete, right? And we were always taught you go out there and you show heart until it's over, right?
Yeah.
And with that came a lot of tendency to overextend yourself in a certain degree, whether or not be in sports, but it translated to other things in life, whether it be entrepreneurial or work or relationships. But it's something that I've definitely had to take a step back and just process thoroughly of like, okay, I can run really fast all the time, but I need take that time to step back and recover. That way, you know, we don't go through the burnout phases, you know, and then other areas of our life start to spiral because of it, right?
Sure.
And at least for me, like that looks like, you know, my mental health, you know, my nutrition, being in the weight room or whatnot, my physical health, and most importantly, and always, I'm a child of God first, and my refuge and recovery comes from resonating within the Lord. I just wanted to make sure that that is my number one way to recover. But yeah, I mean that's it mostly. Any questions?
No, I love it. And kind of with Zane, I want to start out there with you guys, because we've been in this room for a while. So let's jump out to your room. What are you guys kind of sensing out there?
Yeah, we're honestly just getting into this, and I love Nolan's perspective of, you know, really assessing where you're at, and sometimes you don't know where you're at or if you're stuck until you realize it, and it can cause a lot of issues for yourself if you're not paying attention to what's going on around you and internally.
I think for me, one thing that you said, Nolan, that's really key is just that foundation. You know, you said your foundation is God, your spirituality, just kind of your reset is a base. And I think we all need to have some kind of a base. I think that's the most important thing, because from that, you can kind of get your consciousness around where you should start from every day. And, you know, I think that that's a great foundation to have. And I think that's something we should all aspire to have.
Yeah, that's that soft place to land. If you have one, go for it when you need it, you know?
Well, and I think if you can organize your priorities, that will help to kind of figure out where to put your energy in and when you can have your downtime and relax.
And I think, oh, I'm sorry, Ryan. I think Nolan touched on something that I often try to touch on a lot in my stuff, right? Because Nolan talked about his athletics background, being in the fitness space. There is a lot of that standard of, you know, go, 110%, all out, all the time. And it's something that I work with myself and with clients. It's like, look, we don't necessarily need to redline it. We don't need to go all the way. We don't need to max out. It can lead to some burnout. It can lead to some issues. I know the person beside me, Cherie, talks a lot better about that. But it's just kind of, yeah, there is a lot in our cultures ingrained with that all out mentality. And I'm excited to hear how Nolan kind of balances that. Still, I know him personally. I know he's still really active in the athletic, push his body to the limit space. Curious to hear more about how he balances that in this conversation.
You know, the big thing I think for, go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy.
I was just saying the big thing, you know, we all have to rely on each other. Just know that there's a huge support group on everybody's challenges every single day, and you got to keep moving forward. We all hit a road and a spot that we need someone to help out with, and you know, everybody can come together and learn from each individual person and prevail from there.
Yeah. So I want to push this back to Nolan because Stephen, you were asking or curious about that. The thing that triggered this aspect of the conversation is we were talking about cold plunges.
Yeah.
And something that you said that I've encountered because I've done the cold plunges, and actually Leonidas was pushing on me to refill our cold plunge because it's cold enough out for that. And I was like, I don't know if I need that. Yeah.
Need you though.
That's it, right? There's this like the magic of a cold plunge is I don't want to do it.
Yes.
And I do it anyway.
Yes.
And so kind of speak to that a little bit, and then because we segued from that to like there is making yourself do the thing you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And then there's like maybe taking that too far. So
right. Well, I think that like for a lot of people they get comfortable being comfortable, you know, and to at least to me to inspire and encourage growth, you got to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations sometimes, you know. And a lot of times like they say it's a decision, you know, it's not people are like, oh, I struggle with this or that, you know, and I get that because things are hard, you know, but a lot of times it's just a decision. You're going to wake up, you're going to make that decision to make yourself uncomfortable for your growth or your recovery, or you're not, you're going to be comfortable. You know, I struggle with this on a daily basis in the sense of I have a cold plunge in my back patio and I have a hot tub, right? I like to go from one to the other. Contrast water therapy has been something that's really helped with my recovery in athletics for a multitude of reasons. But you know, it's nice because I get to wake up, you know, I spend time with the Lord first, you know, that's my foundation. But then I like to go sit in the hot tub, right, and be comfortable. And then once I sit there and I'm comfortable being comfortable, I tell myself, all right, am I going to be a warrior today? And am I going to put myself outside of my limits and do what I need to do? Or am I going to go back inside and kind of start my day a little slower, you know? And I just know that the days that I do choose to get in that cold plunge, just builds resiliency and mental fortitude that takes me further throughout the day. Definitely.
I'd like to have you go a little deeper on that, but I mean, you don't bring the cold plunge with you in the car.
No.
So when you're out there every day and you're working your business and you're trying to sell great service and merchant solution to a company that needs it.
Right.
How do you get into that mindset? Kind of like you just stepped out of the cold plunge.
Yeah.
Before you go in to see somebody or before you line up your day on how many people you're gonna talk to.
Ooh.
Just in the practical sense of things.
Well, I think that to start the day with a cold plunge, the hardest part of the day is already out of the way.
Okay.
Right? I mean, everything's downhill from there. You already took that leap of faith to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, you know, and I think that just transfers into my relations, into my sales, into my networking, because then I have that I've already completed that day, that I can draw upon of like, hey, you were already successful in this moment, and now we can use this to draw upon to go apply ourselves over here.
So another question, and I'll get out of the way, but setting yourself up for making the calls or going on the appointments or doing things like that. Do you do some self-talk there? Do you remind yourself of what your objective is? I mean, speak a little bit to the setup that you have for here.
Well, I think, I mean, at least with what I do, I get rejected a lot. You know, you gotta be comfortable with being rejected. And I think a lot of that comes down to, you know, just being confident in who you are and knowing your worth in that sense, you know, and not letting other people determine that based upon how they're feeling that day. You know, because I know like sometimes, you know, when you go out and you do things and you're pulling doors and you have a couple bad interactions in a row, you're like, dang, I need a minute right now. Like I can't just take this energy into the next meeting with me. But yeah, I mean, like, at least for me, I mean, I always go back on gratitude. I think that that's something that really fuels my entire life, you know, especially when I'm down. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but this is actually one of my favorite facts ever. And I just have to share with you guys is anxiety and gratitude are on two completely different sides of the spectrum, right? Like if you take that minute to express gratitude for absolutely anything, anxiety in itself cannot live in that place. And then that gives you that foundation to be able to reset your mental health in a sense, right? And then push forward.
I love that. And that's a great segue, and I don't want to dominate, so I'm hoping that there's a lot of different resonating going on. And Zane, maybe you guys have some people that are ready to jump in. But I want to speak to that because it's something that I see in myself, whether it's gratitude and anxiety, or the one that it presents for me a lot is noticing the good or what could be better. And it manifests in my yard all the time. Right? If I look at my yard and I'm looking at it critically, and I'm like avoiding eye contact with my wife, because like we both know this, like it can just get very like, I still need to pull weeds and I still need to paint this and and it's just like, and you spiral in that direction. Or when I look at my yard, like, oh man, what a beautiful, I am so grateful that I get to live in this place. And so there's so many ways that manifests itself. So Zane, are you guys ready to pop off a little bit?
Anything
I mean,
go ahead, Stacey.
I'm 60, so I don't behave at 60 like I did when I was 20, right? So as you get older, you kind of learn to give yourself some grace and realize, you know, I don't have to be 110% on everything. But if there's something that you're really passionate about, then you're going to put that time into it. But if it's not perfect and everyone else thinks it's great, and you're like, then you just give yourself some grace, give yourself some time and do what you got to do, because the only one who can make you feel any type of emotion or feeling is yourself. No, you can't, like if someone gives you a negative comment, remember that only has an effect on you if you allow it to. So give yourself grace and do what you have to do.
Sorry to jump so quick, but if I go really fast after she's done talking, everybody else knows that there's continuing conversation. No, so just to speak of the cold plunge thing, a week ago, Natalie asked with encouragement to go with her to do this
I
cold
had my
plunge
fingers crossed,
in
yeah.
Coeur d'Alene and with her other friend. I only did it because I knew I needed to push myself out of my comfort zone. But we got in this hot box for like 190 degrees for 15 minutes. I'm dripping, just sweat, just dripping everywhere. So hot that a cold plunge sounded good. So that was my meat. I do it when it sounds good. So I did it. I lasted 10 seconds in the cold 43-degree water. 10 seconds. But it was a lot. And I was up to my, I was up to my armpit. So I mean, I was deep. I was cold. And then I did it again. I got 20 seconds the second time. But I'll tell you, when I walked away, the fight or flight feeling that you kind of get from having that cold shock like that to your whole system, every cell leaves you vibrating. And this buzz that you have when you leave does kind of reinvigorate. So since then, and you're talking about Nolan making a choice to do this, in the mornings I go from a really hot shower, completely cold, see how long I can stick it out, and I get that shock back. I get that vibration back, and it feels really good. And it really truly does get me out of the shower. It's starting off just like I'm ready to go. It's like I'm prepared for my whole day. As I get out of the shower, I'm already ready. It's amazing. It's actually been a really, really big transformation. So this cold plunge thing is legitimately real. It's because it wakes you up. Wake yourself up.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my computer camera like that's who I'm talking to. I should be looking up there. All right. Wake yourself up.
Joshua needs to just turn off his water heater at home.
Dave needs to come stay the night and have a shower then.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to pipe in a little bit with Nolan saying something that insightful at his age. It was really a great thing to hear, because some of these types of real fundamental things with me going through my business career it took me 20 years in some cases to find these things out. I mean, being comfortable in the uncomfortable, I mean, that's one of my baseline. I have to tell myself I have to be comfortable in the uncomfortable,
Right.
because it's, we're going to have that every day, whether you're working with your clients, your family, your spouse, everything is going to be uncomfortable at one point. So, no, I just wanted to say, Nolan, that was pretty insightful. I think, yeah,
It's good.
I think one of the things that I think about is the push of the pain pleasure push.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, in the moment it can be painful,
Right.
but man, that pleasure that comes after can be so fulfilling and rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that everybody in here and out there and in this world has had those experiences of pain in the moment, but the pleasure that comes afterwards is so incredible. For me personally, I've been very, very, very sick, like sick in bed for 5 years, and it was very painful. And I had to do some very drastic things in my own life to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And were those things great? Not really, honestly. Like, some of those things were really painful to get better, but the pleasure that has come afterwards and the way that I feel and I'm able to be in these rooms with everyone, is the pleasure is so incredible. The reward is so amazing. And there are so many things that, I mean, everybody can speak about those pain pleasure moments in their lives. And it's just like what you're talking about, that pain pushes that pleasure out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we should remember to also slow down to speed up too. When we're going 110%, it's not a race, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
No, you're totally right.
Yeah,
you're totally right. That's been the hard thing for me, is because I grew up long distance running, so it's like you get to the front of the pack,
Yeah.
But it's not sustainable long term.
Right.
So definitely.
But it's also important at this point, and I mean, first and foremost, I'm not going to ever be a guy who does a cold plunge. There may have been a time in my life where I dabbled with it, just, I go to hot springs and they always have a cold pool, and I've dabbled a few times, but setting up this is not that. But the point I want to bring up is that we also need to be cautious about focusing so much on energy that we take shortcuts and substitutes for the value of having natural energy. And I speak to this from a consciousness of I likely drove myself into a heart attack because it was that constant, I need to be, I'm the one carrying the weight for this group of people who are looking to me to solve a problem, and I don't have any one to share it with or things. And so I was literally, when a Keurig coffee is not enough and you go and get a Mr. Coffee so you can do 14 cups a day, to keep yourself at that peak level, which I keep waiting for Cherie out there to.
Yeah, we're all waiting for Cherie.
But it comes down to this question of, are you balanced in how you approach this? Because it's too easy to take on all the stresses and things. And I'm actually going to throw it out to Cherie because I was actually in her training session when I had my heart attack. Or I was going through a training session with her, so I just kind of dropped out in week 3 and had to email her a few days later and say, sorry, I've been in the hospital. So how about Cherie's view on peak? We're glad you're here.
Yeah, Rob, I love the testimonial you gave after going through that program, because you said, I thought peak performance meant pushing harder, but it's actually learning how to slow down. And somebody had said that already. You have to slow down to speed up. And that's really hard for us to imagine, because we are taught as a society to get the straight A's and to achieve, and you're rewarded for that achievement. There's nothing wrong with that. However, we are taught how to rest, and we're not taught that rest is okay. And Nolan had mentioned this in sports. Yes, you are taught to be 110%. You're taught to push through hard things. And when we look at it from an exercise physiology standpoint and kinesiology standpoint, if you look at a training plan for Olympic athletes, they have a 4-year training plan. And part of that is rest. And if they don't get enough rest, they burn out or they injure. If they get too much rest, they don't peak at the right time. And so rest is actually a key part of peak performance, but we're not taught how to do that. And a lot of it is belief. And because we find our worthiness and our achievements in what we're doing. And so we feel like if we're not doing it, then we're lazy, because maybe a parent or somebody told us oh, you're lazy, you're not doing the thing, or society made us feel that way. And so I think it's really important to also look at what are you internally believing about yourself and about achievement and about rest and what you believe about rest. And one of the exercises I like to do in workshops is have people close their eyes and think about rest, and they notice what instantly comes up is anxiety and stress in their chest and their neck and their shoulders. And it's because there's a root belief that rest is not okay.
I love rest.
I love rest.
I 7:30 p.m. I lay down. I am so happy.
Yeah, bed and pillows.
Oh my gosh.
And rest is, it's mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, right?
Yeah,
it's not just sleeping.
Yes.
And a lot of people have a hard time turning their brains off. So
It's almost like you have multiple switches to turn off when you lay down that.
yeah.
I just had that conversation with Rob too, recently about, shutting down your brain and creating a balance for yourself. And then we had a conversation about, our Apple Watches with, the monitoring of our sleep, light sleep versus REM versus deep sleep. And, we were kind of comparing notes. It was, it's actually nice. I've been just starting that process to monitor my sleep so that I understand what am I going through? Is it enough rest? What can I do more? So yeah, thank you for that, Sherry. I appreciate that reminder for sure.
Also, then, do we need to set goals for our rest, or is that making our rest not restful?
People how to be self-aware and understand when their body needs rest and listening to when their body needs rest.
That's awesome. Rob?
Cherie, you said something like listening to your body about knowing when your body needs rest. And I love research. I love to like figure out how minds work and bodies work and stuff. And it is alarming to me the amount of people that are actually not in tune with their own body. And they're hitting these walls and then they're barreling through them. And then they're getting sick or having these really big health scares or, having massive burnout because they're actually not in tune with what is going on with their own body. And this is very true. There's actually some people that are so unaware of their own body that they don't know that they have to go to the bathroom. And I was reading about this the other day, and it's adults, it's not just children. And it was like, I don't remember the amount of people, but I was like, wow, that's a staggering amount of people because they're just so not in tune with what is going on with their own body. But it's not just, needing to go to the restroom or something or like that, but it's when to actually, take a nap, when to actually turn the phone off at night, when to not watch the show at night, when to, be in tune with your family and have dinner and not have the cell phone at the table. And that's a rule in our house. We do not have cell phones at the table when we eat. And yeah, it's being present. And so it's not just being present with your own body, but being present with who is around you. Dave is sitting next to me and he's wearing this amazing, turtleneck and just, his presence is so calming, guys. And if you're ever around him, you feel that it exudes from him. But if you're not in tune with what's going on in your own body, how can you feel that Dave has this extremely calming presence to him? Mm-hmm. So being in tune with your body is so important in all aspects of life.
It's a nice turtleneck.
It's a great turtleneck.
That actually does.
No, I'd love to elaborate on this actually, because I actually used to be a sleep expert and now I'm a light expert. So you guys all are talking about rest, right? Rest is the key. It will build your muscles. It will build your recovery. A lot of people think, yeah, you go in the gym, and you're trying to build your muscles. Again, they don't grow until you rest. Just like in business, just like anything, minds, right? And sleep, anything can affect your sleep, your light, your alarm clock, but we need to get at least 8 hours of sleep. I know we've been preached that forever and ever. However, people don't realize that light in your room will kick you out of your sleep cycles. Stuff coming into your, like sunshine coming into your room or light leaks, that actually kicks you out of your sleep cycles. And every single time you kick out of your sleep cycle, what happens is you're not hitting that deep sleep like you need to fully get ready for the next day. We all love caffeine, coffee. However, the hard part about that is we're running off of it, correct? Yep. And eating too late, that kicks you out of your sleep cycles. I'm sorry to say. Caffeine too late, which I'm a downfall. I know if you guys all have pets, but pets are not a good thing to have in a mattress or that either. Now, lights can help you immensely. The light we pick in our home can immensely generate our mood. When we have task lighting that's really bright, I know some of you guys have been to the showroom in our Spokane Valley at Five Lions, but when it's really bright, you got that energy, you got that task, you're getting stuff done. But when it comes to the evening, you need dimmable lights to lower that circadian rhythm to set yourself up to start relaxing, to fall asleep. Does that make sense? It's all that cycle. Think of the day, sunrise, sun right in the middle of the noon, got all that task, and you got that sunset. Same thing, right? And that's how you successfully make it so you get that rest you need to keep building the blocks for everything for daily life, whether it's business, fitness, anything as far as that goes. So
yeah, that's a good point. I'm actually a little too familiar with circadian rhythm because, my mom, she had a heart surgery and, developed ICU delirium after the surgery, and she was in ICU for a month and a half. And, you know, there was a long period of time where they don't shut the lights off in the room.
Right.
So we had to request it over and over and over again,
Yeah.
just so that she could have some sort of balance with her rest.
Yeah.
And it made me so conscious of it. I actually bought my youngest daughter one of those alarm clocks that has the light slowly
You were telling
goes
me.
on and on and on and on and on as like a sunrise to help wake her up. And
Yeah.
I love that you spoke about that, Ryan.
Yeah, you told me about that. That was the Casper Glow. I used to
Yeah.
sell those actually, and yeah, it would mimic the sunrise and sunset, and that's all basically changing our mind that hey, it's time to go to bed. Forget about your day. There'll be another day. Just get ready for it.
Yeah, very cool.
I think,
So I want to, Steve, I'm going to jump in here just because a couple of things. Rob had something he was starting to say, so I want to hear about that. But also, and I don't always do this, but I want to give a plug for We Pliants or Y Pliants. Sorry, I was out there this week, and this speaks to what we're talking about. But also, like, I want to encourage everybody, go see Ryan out at Y Pliants and have him show you the room. He'll know what you're talking about because he's here. But like seriously, blackout curtains, like blackout curtains, right? So he pulls those down and then he starts messing with the lights in the room. And I am not kidding you. My energy, like I could physically feel my energy change when he did like the sunset, the sunrise, like it's a very cool apparatus and all of that stuff. But speaking to what we're talking about here, it is amazing what your physical environment does to your felt energy, and then what that energy, like what even just what we're doing right here. Like if I could go out in the room where Zane, where you guys are, and then come back in this room, like there's a different energy just from room to room. And then like Melissa was talking about with Dave, like we transfer energy to each other in ways. And so if you come into, and Nolan, to going back to your original point of, if you go into a rough interaction and then another rough interaction, and you go into the third one and you're still carrying all of that energy, there is zero chance you're gonna like, unless you run into somebody that's just got amazing energy and they're like, hey, I see you, man. Your chances of doing anything well are going to be really low. So yeah, no, I don't normally plug people as much as I just did, but go see Ryan out there at Y Plats. Everything about that is cool. But Rob, you were starting to say something. If you still remember.
Well, all I was gonna speak to, and this ties into something that we actually had in a prior Friday conversation about the distinctions between extroverts and introverts, and so I identify as an introvert, which seems a little bit strange to people because I am a teacher. I've been a teacher for years, and I also, in college and things, I was interested in acting and being on stage, which seemed to be very out, extroverted kind of behaviors. But the issues with it were that it's about energy management. And so these things are, I have practiced over years of knowing when I need to just pull away. I walk into a classroom and I'm going, okay, I'm not ready for this today. And so I will just, go over so where I can look outside, be by myself. And all I'm doing is just mentally building my energy level, because what I know about teaching is that you teach better when you bring the energy up in everyone. And this is why actually, as an audience, it's so powerful to be engaged with whoever you're observing, because I can feel that energy. If my students are just it's like, it takes everything out of me just to fill my role.
Yeah.
But there are moments in which I get energy from the students. I actually remember one student or one class particularly decades ago. And it was one of these classes that was highly technical, very dry, very boring stuff. But I got into the class and we got into a particular subject in the afternoon. And I suddenly had this moment where energy just started building. And I started realizing, oh, and I started doing this, and students picked up on that, and they started filtering it back because they had questions and they wanted to talk about this, and we had freewheeling open conversation. And at the end of the class period, we walked out, heading our separate ways, and one of my students, she was walking beside me, and she says, "Man, that class was just amazing today. That afternoon session was off the charts." And I said, "Yeah, it certainly was, but you didn't get it, or you didn't see it, did you?" And she was going, "What?" I said, "Today was the first day I've ever taught that I actually understood it." But it was just that moment of energy, and then able to feed them and they feed it back. And this is true. I'm sure, Nolan, it's the same for you, in a more sales role. You're constantly having to feed people with your energy in that process.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's nice, like you said, when you come across those people that have phenomenal energy, where you're like, man, this is a breath of fresh air right now. Like, let's spend more time here getting to know you. Like how Josh says at the Alignable events, he's like, hey, if you're not connecting with somebody, go find somebody to connect with. You know, those moments can be just so awesome, just to refill your cup in that sense. So yeah, absolutely recommend with that.
We definitely need that. So we're getting kind of towards the end, and this is where I like to pivot. And I'm going to say good job to like a lot of our normal introverts kind of just weighing in. I appreciate hearing from you, but I like to make a little segue where those of us that are comfortable just jumping right in, just kind of slow down a little bit, pause a little bit, and allow for anybody that hasn't had a chance to share that might want to. And so as we segue into this, if you've been kind of percolating on something and you feel like you'd like to share that, we're going to just slow it down a bit and give you that opportunity. Zane, I can't see who out there hasn't talked yet because they don't pop up on the thing. So kind of look around the room, make eye contact with those quiet ones. Silent clap. Yeah. Good job, guys.
We have a few voices we'd like to hear from, kind of on my opposite end of the table. Pause, I know, kind of just.
There's been a ton of stuff that has resonated with me. I don't know if I have a lot to contribute to the conversation, but the sleep stuff is really interesting. My sleep cycles have completely changed about a year and a half ago. I've struggled with sleep apnea for years and years when I started sleeping with a CPAP that changed everything. But it's just interesting how we're talking about these physical ways that we rest in relation to businesses, which is kind of a different thing, but also kind of the same thing. It's just really, really interesting. And then energy, the energy that we have out, because I'm also in a sales role as well, very similar to Nolan's. But you just have to keep in mind that if they're neg, you got to shake a leg. Can't give your energy to those people in those situations, but because you will find people that resonate with what you're doing. If you're talking to someone, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person as well. So find the right person.
Good.
Yeah, I've got something. So it was kind of touched on a little bit earlier. But each space that you occupy, occupy, that I don't know why that's a struggle. It's almost like it has its own battery, and batteries, if they're left untouched for long enough in a machine, they can get corroded, and it can take a very long time for that battery to get working again. So when you're going back into a space that you haven't touched in a while, be prepared to have a lot of work being done to get that space working again versus like your house. You've been there constantly. You know exactly what's going to happen when you go into that space. So just be prepared to do work when you go into a space that you haven't been in for a while. Yes.
Good job, Dad.
MVP.
Love it, buddy.
Nice. Get him home.
Yes, he does.
Adopted.
You're a proud dad there, proud mama, you guys.
Awesome. Alec?
You know, I'm a spiritual director and life coach and think all the time about how so often we're alone in the world. And I have a small group I've been going to for over 30 years, and the ability to share what's going on in life with another soul. I mean, you talk what's good. What you're talking about is good, but if you're doing it by yourself and just between you and the Lord, often that's not quite good enough. And I can tell you as a pastor, for 10 years I pastored a church, and there was always this feeling like I'm really alone in this. And nobody really sees me and nobody really cares. And so, I mean, I'm not saying this so that you'll come to me as a coach or spiritual director, but the reality is you need people in your life to share this kind of stuff. When you talk about not knowing yourself, I swear, when someone told me stuff about myself and not knowing it, it was that friend who would say, Alec, you're obnoxious, you know? I love you, but sometimes you're just really too loud in a room or whatever it is. And I just think so many times we live in this state of high achievement, high activity, high work, and we're really, you know, we're intelligent, we're articulate, we're working the thing, but really we're all alone in the world. And even with our spouses, I mean, I've got a great marriage, but some things I need to process with an adult male. And I really want to say that to the room, like we need a human, you know, we need to breathe the same air, if you know what I mean, with someone else and not be alone in whether it's sleep or overwork or energy or all this stuff or all things to process with another soul, another pair of eyes, and not be alone in the world. Just don't do it. It ends badly.
I actually like to touch on that.
Yeah, go.
One of my favorite phrases that I've come to resonate with is sometimes it takes a village to raise a child, right? As I feel like I was that child growing up that needed that village. And I think in today's world, we try to take on things alone, like you're saying, but I mean, what really changes, right? Like we're all here growing, we're all here learning. We don't know everything. So I think that, like you're saying, to tie yourself into that community, you know, of being tied in over here and over here and over here and over here, you know, there's good counsel in many advisors, as you're saying, you know, and scripture does tell us, man shall not be alone. It's not good for him. So I resonate with that. Thank you.
Well, and I think, Alec, between what you and Rob said earlier, Rob, you said this like middle of the hour, and I can't get it out of my head. Like this idea of what you were doing, the leadership in a vacuum, where it's just you, everyone's relying on you, and you just feel this weight. And I do believe an aspect of this is mindset, right? We have to shift that mindset and say, okay, like if I don't carry this burden, the world's not going to end tomorrow. Like there is that aspect to it. And I think that, Alec, what you just shared is so crucial. And this is a little bit self-promoting, but like this thing that we do on Fridays, what you guys are talking, this is why we do this. Like it is so that we can get in a room with other people that are leaders in some way, shape, or form. You may not be the leader of a church, you may not be the leader of an organization, but you, in some way, you feel that burden. That's the people that are in this room, like you're all there. And to be able to sit around a table, to sit, and we get here before we start the live, we hang out afterwards, get eyeball to eyeball with somebody that is going through it, and you don't have to fix their problems. They don't fix your, just share that like, oh man, it is hard. It is tough. Finding that, I mean, it's literally impossible to navigate this perfectly.
Right.
And yet at the same time, whatever you've done up until now is what brought you to right now. So you're doing something right.
Right.
And this is something I'm just gonna share this. I don't know that I've shared this. I know I haven't shared it publicly. I had a moment recently. I go to my gym to sit in the sauna there, talk about saunas and cold plunges.
Yes.
It's just so much hotter than the one in our house. And I get to do like social hour, like hang out with people. So it's great. And then afterwards I walk around the pool to cool off because I get very sweaty. It's who was the one that was saying that they tried it and the cold plunge, who was like 3 seconds? Was that somebody else?
That was Joshua.
Oh, Joshua.
Joshua, yeah.
I made 10 seconds and then 20.
Yeah, that like I'm that like I get very so I have to cool down. So I'm walking around the pool and there's this dad that brings his son. His son is on the spectrum in some way. I haven't talked to him about it, but he definitely presents with certain very clear symptoms. And so his son will sit in the hot tub and he's just there to make sure that, you know, his son doesn't do something that would be counterproductive. And I just felt this overwhelming urge to go over to this guy, the dad, look him in the eye and tell him, you're doing a great job. And I even took the extra step beforehand and I said, do not deflect this. Do not try to change. Just hear me out. You're doing a great job. And that was it. And I just went back to walking my laps. And I think I need to hear that. And I want everybody in this room, Zane out there, like, you're doing a great job. Keep going. We need to hear that. And so my challenge and encouragement to you guys is tell somebody that. See them. And not in a, like, I just blasted it out shotgun style to everybody, but like, when you look someone in the eye and you tell them, hey, you're doing a great job, man, talk about feeling seen and heard. We need that. We need that. And it's true. It's honest. You might be screwing a million things up, but somewhere in your life, you're doing a great job. And when somebody sees that and you're like, oh, it's me looking at my yard from the perspective of, oh, I need to do this. And wait a second. This is a cool yard. I like this yard. You change that narrative for people.
I think that that's really, you know, powerful thing. And it gets a little bit, Melissa was talking about how people are unaware of themselves, their own energy. But being open to that and feeling those, I was thinking of Gay's response about feeling a nudge. You know, when you are in a spot where there is a moment that you feel that urge to walk up to somebody, you know, it's the worst time to suddenly get self-conscious about yourself because there is some energy there that is seeking, you know, that. And it is, I mean, I will do that. I will sit here thinking, I should call this person. But they might be busy. I might be interrupting something, but for some reason, right at that moment, I'm feeling that urge.
Wow.
And I need to listen to myself here and go, sometimes you just have to get out of your own way and go with that sense. And as Jonathan, you were describing it, it was a moment you acted on it and then you moved on. It wasn't like we're gonna make this into some big, you know, moment where the skies parted and everything. It was just simply an opportunity. And I imagine that father, even if it only lasted for a few moments, felt vindicated that I'm being recognized. You know, because those situations can be challenging. And that's that connection with human beings. We're not just doings, we're beings.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
It's good. Zane, any last minute final thoughts out there? Well, you guys are having a robust conversation.
Fully invested, and especially I love what Rob was just saying. Yeah, get out of your own way. And what kind of came to mind, and it sounds a little weird, but not only get out of our own way, but let's get in each other's way. And not to limit them, but get in front of people, like you're saying, get involved. Because we're not alone. And sometimes, especially when we are feeling pressure and we're not resting and we're just so focused on what we have to do, there's nothing more lonely than that. And so to get in front of other people, even when you're not feeling the best, that's the best way to help build you up and build up the community around you. And to echo you, the reason why we do this, the reason why I keep coming back every week and join this group, yes, I love talking about my business and what we do to help others, but the people here every week, just the energy, right? We feel it, it boosts us. And
Fills your battery.
Yeah, so
fills
charge that
it
battery.
takes that corrosion off our batteries.
Yes.
Just keep them charged, keep them.
Thank you, John Byron. Yes, for sure.
Leonidas, good call out.
And I think because there's so many, we're all business owners, and as a business owner, everyone comes to you and you start feeling like you're responsible for everyone's livelihood and how their families are running and how the business looks. And if you look into research as multi-million-dollar company owners, they're that way because they delegate. They know what their weaknesses are, they know what their strengths are, and they don't try and do everything on their own. They know that they're going to delegate to whoever is working there for them, that that's their expertise. That's why they hire them. And so it takes, again, it's another form of the village, just like Nolan said, that is going to build that business up. So you really don't have to be the owner who does everything. But if you realize it's okay to not know everything, you're there, you got there. Now start delegating to the experts that are there for you.
Good, I like that. All right, anybody in here? Oh,
I got one more thing to say. Go for it. You all are doing a great job.
So I already posted it on Facebook, but if today reminded us of anything, it's that strength isn't proven by how much we can carry, but knowing when to lean, when to rest, and when to let others in. Hard things shape us, but soft places save us. And the wisest people build a life with room for both.
Good. Nice. Awesome.
My gosh. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, well, we're gonna kind of start wrapping things up. Dave, I wanted to mention, and do you want, maybe I'll let you speak to it as well, but I'm gonna put this up so that people can see it. Literally tonight, yeah, 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock tonight at Hamilton Studio. It's called the Diva Show. It's in our third year. And Gay Krieger Ribble is one of the stars. And then Saturday, we're also at Hamilton again. So tonight and tomorrow.
Excellent.
And you can walk in, pay for your ticket right there at the spot. And it'll be fun.
Very good, very good. Want to obviously again thank Dryfly and Idic Designs for the location, for the lunch. Nolan, thank you so much for bringing that. Any closing thoughts?
Did you have some information you wanted to get to, you didn't get to?
No, if anything, I just want to express gratitude for you guys. I mean, like they were saying out there, I get in front of people, sometimes, and I feel like put myself in front of you guys, a group that serves people and chooses to uplift the people around you guys. It just makes for just a wonderful community, and I feel tremendously blessed to be part of it. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you being here. The other big thing I want to say again, I mentioned it at the top of the hour. Next week we will not be here at Dryfly. We will be at Innovia, which is on the 6th floor of the Lincoln Building, which is the corner of Riverside and Lincoln. So it's literally 1 block from where we are now. So if you did accidentally come here, you would probably have enough time to get there. And we're going to be up in their community room, which is a really cool organization. Melissa O'Hara is our guest next week. She is part of an organization called SCORE, which actually lines up really well with what Innovia does. So I'm super excited to talk about the topic that she's bringing.
She is great people.
Oh my goodness, she is amazing people. And I actually know her because of you, Dave Ribble. So thank you for that.
Well, I know her because of Rob.
Of course, it all comes back to the professor.
That's right.
Excellent. Well, we were actually just like a minute before, and we're kind of wrapped up everything. So I'm going to throw it to my key people. Am I missing anything? I know we announced
Alignable maybe next on the 11th.
Yes.
Alignable on the 11th. Yeah. Thank you, Jay. Actually, any other events coming up? Or
I was just going to speak on Alignable for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, so come on out to Alignable. It's December 11th. and it's out here in Spokane. And we all want to see you there. I mean, it's such a wonderful group of people that just want to uplift, and they're already in a mindset to network and collaborate. And so I just urge you guys to come on out there and represent your business and have some great conversation. So thank you.
Excellent. Great plug. And yes, I'm glad that we brought that up. On that note, we talked about coming here on Fridays, and I'm not diminishing that. Please, we would love to have you. The more the merrier. All of that is true. That is not the only place that you can do what we're talking about. And Alignable is a great example. There are tons of opportunities to get out there, be with people, be in community with people. Melissa and I host a monthly gathering. This month it'll be on the 21st. It's at our house. It's not business. It's just people being people together. So you're all invited to that, but find something that you can plug into. A few of you guys talked about church. Church is a great place to connect with people. It doesn't have to be business. It doesn't have to be faith. The gym. Yeah. Just find something that is somewhere where you can connect with other people that are going through what you're going through, and be real. I kind of mentioned it, Nolan, in what you were just wrapping up with, and it got me emotional. It got me like processing. There's an aspect of being vulnerable with other people. It's not just, hey, how's it going? It's like, man, you need people that you can be real with and just say, I'm struggling right now. I feel the weight of the world. Silly example, I called Melissa because I was trying to figure something out timing wise, and I was hoping that she would help me figure it out. By the time I finished explaining what I was trying to figure out, I had figured it out. Yeah. It's just, sometimes you just need to verbally process with another human being. So, and now we're late. So, okay, we're done. Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you, Dryfly. We are going to do a group photo, so don't go anywhere. And yes, silent applause out in the atrium, and we are out.